Hello and welcome to this webinar. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this orientation session today, which is going to be focused on my future. My name is Sarah Bryn Johnson and I'm part of the BP My Future project team. A dedicated internal team was pulled together last year to develop an enhanced leave-in offer just in time for the start of reInvent BP. I'm joined today by a colleague from that team, Jen. Jen, would you mind just introducing yourself?
Sure, thanks Sarah. Hi everyone, add my thanks to Sarah's. Thank you for joining the session. I'm Jen Marland. I joined the myFuture project team with Sarah. I joined back in August and I've been leading the rollout of the offer globally.
Fantastic, thanks Jen. So we're going to turn our cameras off now for the remainder of the session so that you can focus on the content that we want to share today. So before we dive into that content and that detail, we do just want to take a moment to acknowledge at the beginning of this session that we recognise that this is a really difficult time for all of you listening. Now, some of you may have decided that this is the right time for you to choose to leave BP, and for many, you're not leaving BP through your own choice. We are very conscious that many of you may be feeling extremely unsettled by this prospect. BP feels it is really important to do the right thing to support you and have gone above and beyond the support normally provided in order to give you the best possible chance to succeed in a future outside of BP. So today, during this session, we will be sharing the details of the myFuture offer. So let me hand over to Jen now, who will take us through the agenda of what we're going to cover today.
Thanks Sarah. So this is the agenda. We've had the context from Sarah and I'm going to begin sharing the overview of the myFuture offer, and we'll talk about the My Choices page within the website as well. We're going to cover how you can keep connected and really make the most of the myFuture offer, and we'll finish off just by sharing some of the frequently asked questions, and we'll outline next steps. Just as a reminder before we get started, this session is just focused on myFuture. If you want to learn more about the outplacement services, you can find this in a separate recording in the events page. We're also not specifically covering anything related to the exit process today. So if you have questions about timings or your redundancy terms, your notice period, that's not in the scope of what we'll cover in the session. So if you have questions on these topics, please do use the contact details that were in your leaver communication to contact P&C Services. We've been partnering with them since we launched myFuture. They are fully briefed and have access to all the information needed to help and support you, especially related to the specifics of your country or your own situation. So hopefully you've now received your link, your URL in your invitation email. And this is the front page of the myFuture website. This is a screenshot of what you see. It will show your name rather than test. We'll show you the test site here, and we'll look at some of the detail, and we're going to share an overview of the content behind it in a moment. But before we do that, as I mentioned, I just want to look first at this My Choices page. So this is one of the pages that you can access from the top of the website homepage. And I just want to make you aware that the email that you receive, the invitation, the link there is personal to you and it's just temporary. It will expire after 30 days. So on this page, you'll be asked here if you want to continue to access the site after you leave BP, to enter a personal email address and provide a password so that you have your own permanent login. And the email invite also includes information about the offers available to you, and we'll talk about those in just a moment. But if you haven't done so already, then please do take a moment to just register on this choices page in the site.
Thanks, Jen. So one of the choices now that I'd just like to highlight was around the BP alumni. And the choice is I would like to join the BP talent community known as BP alumni. So this alumni has been created to really encourage past and present colleagues to continue their relationship with the BP family. And BP believes that by connecting those employees from across different backgrounds and disciplines and countries, that we really will build a strong and diverse network of people who can really support each other in advancing their careers and accelerating the transition to net zero. So in all, there are over 110,000 former BP employees, of whom only 31,000 are connected on LinkedIn to a current BP employee. And we in BP see that as a missed opportunity. And so the BP Alumni Group is a really important step towards that change. Now, we do have an official BP Alumni Challenge, which includes the LinkedIn group and the bpalumni.com page. The LinkedIn group, known as BP Alumni, and that's an official alumni page, is run by individuals within BP and is available to current BP staff and those that are due to leave BP and those that have already left. There are several unofficial BP groups started by former employees or recruitment consultants, and it's really important to look at the official BP alumni page. At the moment, that boasts more than 7,800 people in that group, and it's growing daily. Now, please note that LinkedIn is not available in all countries. We know specifically that it's not available in Russia. So the BP alumni community will be accessible via the myFuture website. So please select that option that I mentioned earlier within the My Choices page.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Let's talk now about the myFuture offerings so that when you're ready, you can make some informed choices about the support that is best for you, whatever the next steps are that you're considering in the future. There are essentially three pathways shown here: your next job, supporting you, and broader opportunities. So looking at your next job, first of all, we know that every person's career path is different. So we've partnered with outplacement consultants to provide you with an extensive range of tools and resources so that they can be tailored to meet your specific needs. So if you want help, there's access to career coaching, to insights and advice to help you transition your career. And you'll receive details of your in-country outplacement consultant in due course. You also have the option of having BP's talent acquisition teams to support you. They're offering 2 months of support to help connect you with companies that are hiring in your region. So if you let them know your area of expertise, the team can share details of relevant hiring companies with you. And where possible, they can even provide direct contacts for you to follow up with. So far, the global teams have been in contact with over 80 companies that have expressed interest in having further conversations with BP about the programme after this initial outreach. In order to participate, the team just need a few details from you so that they can get into action. So again, if you visit the My Choices page, you'll find that there is one of the options for you to opt in for that support. Whether you're trying to find a new job or perhaps you're considering something completely different, a key priority is supporting you, and Sarah is going to cover that part of the site now.
Thanks, Jen. So there are three main sections within the Supporting You section. The first part is about your well-being, and this houses a range of resources. To start with, there are 3 podcasts which have been put together by an external vendor who helped us put some really practical information for you. One around practical and emotional ideas on looking after your mental health as you prepare for this next phase of life. The other one is about exploring legacy and gratitude. And the final one helps you consider future opportunities and how to really explore turning negatives into positives. There's also a useful tips and hint sheet covering 10 practical suggestions, as well as information about our employee assistance program and Headspace, both of which are available for you to continue using up to 12 months after you leave. It is worth noting, however, that in the US, only the EAP is available as part of the US medical plan. So after you leave, BP is only available if you're enrolled in either one of the COBRA continuation medical plans or the retiree medical plans. The next section is all about laptop retention. And those that have access to a BP laptop are able to retain it for personal use if that's something they want to do. The information here will guide you through how to retain your laptop and the actions that you need to take. You just need to complete a laptop retention form at least 3 weeks before your last working day, and this will help estimate your tax obligation and the resale value, which can be found in this form. Finally, in this section, it's all about learn more, and we really want to continue to support you to keep learning, and therefore we're giving you the choice to continue accessing Get Abstract for up to 6 months after leaving BP. For those of you that don't use Get Abstract already, it is the world's largest online library of summarized content, and it finds and rates and summarizes over 20,000 books, articles and video talks, all into 10-minute abstracts. I'm going to hand over to Jen now for the final section.
Thanks, Sarah. So finally, the broader opportunities section offers a range of information if you're interested in exploring some different pathways as you leave BP. So, for example, if you considered teaching, there are lots of videos and information to hear from others who've made that transition, and lots of information so that you can explore routes into a teaching profession. There's also a lot of information about careers in the non-profits and social enterprise section. Again, videos and resources to help you understand the sector and how to set up either your own purposeful organisation or how to find roles within existing organisations. This is great to give you opportunity to transfer your skills to a different sector. We've also gathered information about non-executive directorship roles. If this is something of interest to you and it applies to you, then again, you can find some information and insights from some BP and non-BP employees about their experiences. Starting a business is something that we know there has been lots of interest in already. So again, you can listen to advice from former BP employees who've taken this route and connect with experts who can share their own ideas and experience. It may be that now is a perfect opportunity to take a deeper dive into an area of interest through academic research. We've got information there, and also there is an academic job board, which is an international job board for academic roles. And finally, there is support to adjust and transition from work if you're wanting to take a break from work or think about retirement. We do want to support you after you have left BP and for a significant period thereafter to help you navigate your career. So the website and all this information will be available to you after you've left and up until the end of the reInvent programme, probably into the middle of 2022. We do want you to note, however, that there are some offers within the portal. Sarah mentioned Get Abstract previously that is available for 6 months. So some of the offers do have different expiry dates. So we just encourage you to check in the website.
Thanks, Jen. So we just want to highlight now some of the myFuture events page that we referenced earlier. So as part of the offer, we have partnered with internal and external experts and have been offering a range of webinars that you can dial into. So we encourage you to review the events pages, see what's most relevant to you, and you can register your interest here and you'll get sent an email confirmation with the details. We are also working on providing recordings, and there are a number of recordings of sessions that we've held so far that are all now available. So just have a look at the live sessions and the recorded sessions.
Great. We mentioned and showed you the My Choices page earlier. You can also sign up there for the myFuture newsletter. This is proving to be one of our most popular options. So if you want to receive a summary of the new information about once every 6 weeks to 2 months, then you can sign up for that option there. And there is also in the site an FAQ page to address the key questions that have arisen so far. And this page also includes the email addresses for the regional People and Culture Service Centres so that you can direct any questions to them at any time, either before or after leaving BP. We thought it would be useful at this point to just highlight a few of the questions related to myFuture. So Sarah, if I ask you the questions.
Sure, go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay?
Yep, absolutely.
So we are often asked how long we can use the myFuture service for, and can I take a break and then pick them up again?
Yeah, and you mentioned a moment ago, Jen, didn't you, in terms of the continued using, and you can access myFuture at the moment till the end of 2021 and possibly longer. It is linked to reInvent, and it's up to you how and when you use myFuture during that time. As both Jen and I highlighted earlier, some areas of support are available for different lengths of time. So just check that on the relevant pages of the website just to make sure you don't miss out. The other top tip I'd say at this stage as well is where people have registered for events, for instance, and even when they initially register their email to get the myFuture link or the newsletter, sometimes individuals have found that those emails go into their junk folders. So do regularly check those as well.
Yep, that's a top tip, Sarah. So we get lots of questions as well about outplacement support. So maybe I'll cover this one, Sarah.
Sure.
Just to say that outplacement is provided through a contracted third party. So for most countries, that support is being provided by Lee Hecht Harrison, LHH. But in a few countries, that's provided by an alternative company. So please do just check your Lever Communications to confirm that. But all of these services are comprehensive and they include individual support and access to online tools, to learning sessions, support for your CV, lots of things. And portions of that service are not time bound, while other services are only offered for a prescribed amount of time. So there are variations by country, and we would encourage you to check your own Lever communication and reach out to your outplacement provider to understand exactly what you're entitled to. There are also pages within the People at BP pages detailing what level of support you can expect.
Worth mentioning as well, Jen, isn't it, around the P&C services? So we've highlighted, haven't we, there the email links, and as you mentioned up front as well, we have worked really closely with those global teams, haven't we, to really make sure they're in the best possible place to answer any queries, whether that be related to outplacement, whether that be related to an event, whether that be related to access to the myFuture site. So please do, contact them for any query that you may have.
Yeah, definitely.
Jen, what about deferring outplacement support? I know we've had that question during many of our live orientation sessions,
Yeah.
and employees do get the opportunity to do that. And we know many people have found that that's useful. You know, for some, they leave and they think, yeah, I just want to wait a while. I want to take a bit of a break. So it's
Mm.
good to know, isn't it, that individuals can defer their outplacement support.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sarah. So certainly for those being supported by LHH, there is the option to defer your the start of your program up to 6 months after your last day of employment with BP. As we initiate myFuture and outplacement support in more countries, there are more variations. So I would urge you, if you've got any questions, as Sarah said, to raise those with P&C services, or if it's before you leave BP, to raise them with your people advisor, because there are variations by country. But if you want to consider delaying it, as Sarah said, for most countries, that is an option and a really good choice, I think, if you want to just give yourself a bit of breathing space. So that then when you do start, you're really in a good position to make the most of the offer.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jen.
All right.
So, as we said at the beginning of this session, we do appreciate that this is a challenging time and we really are doing all we possibly can to support you. So, we do sincerely hope that the myFuture offer will be helpful to you. We've certainly had some very positive feedback from leavers already that have been utilising it. So, thank you so much for taking time to listen to this webinar today.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.